Perfect way to kind of segue into heading into the Rugby Championship now, international season about to start. But before we talk about the matches themselves, a couple of changes obviously within the box setup itself, with Jacques and Villiers having been gone. How do you see the new coaching staff also coming through and just trying to keep the continuity going?
Yeah, it will be interesting. I want to see how Rassie is going to do it. I mean, I've been in that setup for a whole week, trying to learn a little bit with what they've done. I think I was there in 2017. No, 2020, just after the World Cup. And Jacques was Rassie's right-hand man. The two of them decided everything together. Everyone else was just filling the gaps. Those two guys were making the decisions. And now Jacques not there. So it will be interesting who's that guy that Rassie will trust with everything and talk through all those things. I don't know Flanley that well. I know you might know him a little bit more, but when we go to Tony Brown, I think he's very much like Rassie. He's a rugby guy through and through. He sleeps, eats, stopped playing, went straight into coaching. That's all he does. So I think he'll bring something special to the team. So I think it's going to be interesting to see. I do think we will miss Jacques on defence. Jacques by far the best in the world. But I mean, all the players understand that system. They've been in that system for a long time. So there's quite a few key guys that probably can drive that system for a few more years. But it will be interesting to see.
Yeah, and a guy like Dwayne almost transitioning into that from the playing side, getting into the side, I guess keeps the continuity going as well.
I think out of everyone, that's probably the toughest job for Dwayne, because now suddenly you're still in that environment, but you fulfill a different role. So, you know, he kind of needs to separate himself from being a player to now being a coach. Yeah. You know, so you still have relationships with the guys, but you have a different hat on now.
But is he going to be in the coaching staff?
See, I don't know. I don't know. But I'm sure he'll be involved in some kind of way. But I think that'll be difficult for Dwayne, but also a positive in terms of having that continuity, and he understands the defensive system really well. I'm looking forward to see kind of the rise of Mzwandile Stick, even more so. I think he's really stepped up to the plate, and I think he might become that guy that Jacques was to Rassie. You know, I think we've seen how Sticky has kind of matured in the role as well. You know, speaks well, shares in the passion and being able to articulate what they want to do, and I think it's a great opportunity for him as well. You know, a lot has been said about Jerry and Tony, but you know, for Stick I think it's a big thing, and also Dion Davids, Don Heman, same thing. You know, they need to be able to step up now and fill the void that's been left there. So it is important for them. Yeah, you know, Jerry Fly is a great competitor. You know, so I think there's a challenge in terms of him also filling that role now after Felix leaving, because Irish guy coming in being massively successful, the expectations are high for Jerry to be able to do the same, and obviously first up against his home nation, you know, there's a lot to prove. So we'll have to wait and see how they fit into that environment, because that sometimes is a challenge for guys from other countries. Tony, LTB, you know, Vic said it, he's just a rugby nut through and through. And I think the IP that you get there from a guy that played, call it from the early 90s for New Zealand, all the way through, I think he retired in about 2009, only from rugby, then went immediately into coaching. You know, you're sitting with close to 30 years of IP, of a guy being involved in the game on a day-to-day basis, either as a player and a coach, and him now coming into an environment of a team that he coached against so many times. So you get a different perspective. You know, whether all of that will be implemented, we don't know. But I think in terms of them not just being happy with the status quo and challenging from within constantly, I think those guys will add to that.
Yeah, and I guess it will also help in going forward because people maybe know what Jacques would have brought in. So bringing a couple of different perspectives. The tough bits, though, might be just a couple of injuries heading into the international season. Damien Villiers, Steven Kitshoff, Lucanio Arm, the likes might not quite be available in the earlier parts. Is that going to hinder Rassie in any way?
Yeah, we've seen with this team, there's so much depth in the squad. And I mean, those are big names that you're talking about. But if you think back to last year's World Cup, the names that weren't there before the World Cup, and I remember when the team was announced, we were there talking about the team, and we almost talked more about the guys that weren't there than the guys in the team. And then they went over. We thought they picked a B side against the All Blacks just before the World Cup. We smashed them in the World Cup itself, where we said this is a B side. Rassie said, this is not a B side, this is a Springbok side. So I think the depth within the squad's unbelievable at the moment. There's just more guys stepping up. If we look at the URC at the moment, guys that hasn't been involved with the Springbok setup at all, playing fantastic rugby that can step up into those roles. So I think we're in a good space. It's all about how they will gel, coming together now. There's always key positions that you want strong leaders in place that understand the system. I mean, there will be new things coming in. Will Rassie allow that in this first test matches when we play Ireland, or will we stick with what we know and we'll just phase it in as the 4 years go on, like we've seen with him in the beginning? Remember when he took over, it's all conservative. And as the 2 years and then 6 years, they evolved quite a bit and they brought new stuff in. So I think we'll see pretty much of the same as what we've seen at the World Cup. And as we go on, he'll probably bring new things in with this new coaching stuff.
Can you name some names that you think of guys that has not been part of the squad that has impressed you?
Let me go through some of the Bulls guys, and then I'll go through some of the Stormers guys and maybe a few of the Lions guys. So the Bulls at the moment, the one guy that really stands out, but I don't think there's a place for him almost, is David Kriel. I think David Kriel's been outstanding for the Bulls. I think Johan Goosen, whenever he got a chance.
A chance.
Yes. Ambrose Papier, I think he's back to his best. I think he brings so much to that Bulls team. Elrich Lowe has been outstanding. So I know he's been playing 7, and I think that's his best position. But with Peter Steff, the toy still being there, that 8 position being open, it's going. I wonder.
Cameron Heineken?
I think Cameron is a good player, but if I look at that Bulls team, and I mean, Elrich is the guy taking them over that advantage line. He's just bringing that hard edge, and I know a guy like Rassie likes that hard edge. I mean, like a Dwayne, just nothing special, but just smashes hard, getting you over the advantage line. So it will be interesting between him and what's the 8 of Stormers? Evan Roos. I mean, Evan, same thing, fantastic player. And then with the Stormers in that back line, I just love Sasha. I think he's a guy that should take over from Andre in the 10 jersey. Maybe not now, but I mean, in the next 4 years, he's probably the one guy that needs to grow into that position. Then at the Lions, there's quite a few guys that puts their hand up, but I don't know if there's someone that I'll just throw into that starting lineup. So I think you'll probably see most of the same guys there. I don't think there'll be a lot of new faces. Although I name all these names, I think we'll see the same faces that were there last year.
But the injuries, I think, would be a concern, and specialist positions like a Kitsi at Lucid, you know. So Ox, definitely your one Lucid.
But you've got Thomas the Toy.
Yeah, okay.
Playing fantastic rugby overseas. So I think he'll be the second choice in that Lucid.
Because that is what makes us strong, is that, you know, we don't have the best scrum in the business, we have the 2 best scrums in the business. And you want to be able to replicate that as well. Hooker, I think, is a concern. Obviously, Bongi will be your starter, but who will be number 2? With Dion Fourie out now as well, Malcolm still being out, so that is a bit of a concern for me. You can go Akker van der Merwe, you can go Grobelaar, you can Joseph Dweber's there and thereabouts, and a couple of others at the Stormers. So, but that is a bit of a concern for me. Damien Willems are also a massive loss. just the versatility that he brings, and I do think that we have got we can pick a very strong starting lineup in terms of the back line now, with outside backs that we have. But I think his versatility adds a lot. And then one player that I'm really looking forward to see this year is Louis de Jager.
Coming back.
So much to prove. You know, he went through a terrible time, and I would love to see him come back in the mix, because at times our lineouts were a bit of issue, you know, throwing, and Louis brings what Victor brought in his day, and you can speak to it more than me, but I think if you have a guy like that, and then you have a Franco Most and Archie
coming off the bench,
I mean, suddenly again your bomb squad pick. We're probably going to go to the 8-0 split this year.
Who can play scrum off?
Watch that space. and also, sorry, one that I didn't mention, Kwagga. Kwagga's a big loss.
Is he out?
He's injured. He's still injured. I don't think he'll be fit for certainly the first couple of games. And that is such an impact off the bench, or even a starter as 8.
Yeah, but one name I didn't mention as well is JC Pretorius at the Lions. That's just playing unbelievable rugby, and he's pretty much what a Kwagga was in the beginning. Look, Kwagga's probably a bit stronger, a bit more physical now at the end of his career, but when he just started playing for the Lions, coming from the sevens, he was pretty much in the same mold as the JC Pretorius, just bringing that work rate, just there all the time. If someone's through the line, he's there for the inside pass. So there's quite a few players that's coming through.
With all of that, will the Island team be licking their lips? They've been dominant over us in the last 3 encounters. I think the last time we beat them was back here in 2016. Looking into Rassi's part, what will they be thinking coming here?
They'll back their chances big time. You know, can they beat us 2-0 in this series? Yes, they can. They're good enough to do it. But can we beat them 2-0 as well? Yes, we definitely can. So I think that is what makes this series so intriguing, is the fact that you have 2 extremely good teams playing against each other. And injuries on either side to key players will diminish your chances to be able to win the series. You know, a couple of mistakes on the day, and suddenly you know the margins will be extremely small in terms of the series. So it's the Irish will definitely back themselves, and they've got an extremely strong squad as well. But they've only ever won one game in South Africa on South African soil. So to be able to do it 2 weeks in a row, you know, it's a tough challenge. History is against you, but this is a group, an Irish group, that have kind of rewritten, you know, the history in what they have done in New Zealand, in the Six Nations, you know, etc. So yeah, it'll be a
but it's also a Springbok group that has rewritten the history of winning 2 World Cups in a row. So probably the best Springbok side that's ever played, and that's why this is going to be such an amazing series. And a lot of people talk about the new 4-year cycle to the World Cup. I think the 4-year cycle will start after this Island series. So this is almost an extension of this previous World Cup. The Irish team on a show, listen, that was a mishaps again. The All Blacks were actually the #1 team in the world. So it's going to be a massive test series. And the big question, a lot of people say, Jacques Nienaber being with Leinster, will that bring them a little bit of what South Africa think, how they think, or is it Jacques there? Maybe we get more info about what they're thinking about. You never know. So it's going to be such an amazing test series. And I mean, they just showed. The test tickets came out within 30 minutes, sold out. Loftus and Durban.
Did you say test tickets or testicles? Testicles. Test tickets.
I'll kick on your testicles now.
I mean, it's great to see, obviously, the excitement. #1 taking on #2. And then after that, we got Portugal slotted in between Rugby Championship starts. Between those 2 World Cup winners, we never did win the Rugby Championship. It really, I guess, ultimately almost didn't matter. But once again, you brought the shirts. It's going to be massive as well, facing Australia. Of course, the All Blacks and Argentina as well.
I think we shouldn't skip the fact that we have to mention, I mean, Portuguese chicken sales will just go up in Bloemfontein. in Bloemfontein on it's a big game.
It's a big. They won their first game at the World Cup. So
Vic
just because I helped them. It's just because I helped them.
Yeah.
Come on.
Big coach there, but it's a good story as well, eh?
Yeah,
in terms of the development of rugby. We spoke about Japan earlier, and Japan were basically floating around there, and look where they're at now. It's great that South Africa provides a platform now for Portugal after what they've done at the World Cup to say, come here. Portugal won't win. Okay?
It's a big step up for them.
It's a massive step up, but it's an opportunity to test yourself against.
What did you say?
What was that, Siri?
Sorry?
Sorry, it's Portugal versus South Africa.
Portugal chicken.
Fala português, Siri. But yeah, that's great that we see that we grow in the game. But for us, in terms of the year now, getting this off, it is that next cycle as you talk about, so many changes. What excites you the most now going into the rest of the year?
Yeah, I mean, like we said, Ireland's big, and then the rugby championships. I was at a function last night where people said, yes, the Super Rugby is not the same anymore. Is the All Blacks going down because we're not there? And I just said, listen, the All Black team will always be up there. Like the Springbok team will always be up there. There's just too much talent. There's just too much passion for the game in New Zealand. I think in Super Rugby this year, I think the Australian teams are better. So I think the Australian team also is going to have a better team. It looks like things are coming right there. So the championship's going to be a tough one again. Playing New Zealand twice in South Africa. It's going to be big test matches. Again, they feel like they could have won the World Cup final. They want to come out here and show what they can do as well. And remember, you're the world champion. You're double world champion. Everyone is bringing their best game when they play you. But saying that, I think we'll see, once we get to the Rugby Championship, that 4-year cycle will start. I think we'll see new faces. We'll see Rassie starting to try new combinations and start working on this new Springbok team that he wants to take to the World Cup.
Yeah. Lastly, it was great to see.
No, can I add just absolutely. Especially on the All Blacks, and I agree with it. I think this must be one of the, for a South African fan, watching rugby in South Africa, the 2 Ireland Test matches, the 2 New Zealand Test matches on home soil, I don't think if it's ever been that big. But the All Black team, without Bowden Barrett, without Richie Mwanga, without Ardie Sevilla, without Sam Whitelock, and without Aaron Smith, okay, those are guys. It's a very different All Black team.
But there will be new guys, I promise you.
I agree.
New Zealand.
I agree. Never underestimate them. But it's a very different. What we said about Ireland and South Africa, you take some players out, some injuries, and suddenly that affects the team. I think the same applies to the All Blacks. But Razor Robertson has the ability to really mould a team that is competitive, that is strong, that plays for each other, good culture, and that he has shown. So, I'm just throwing it out there.
And after this championship, there will be new names. There will be new Sevillas. There will be new Barretts that we talk about. I can promise you that.
Oh, absolutely. Just to close it off, it's great to see also that the Springboks going around the country. It was absolutely manic in Bombela last year. Argentina going there. It's going to be fun again.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't at that test match, but, by all accounts, the people were saying it was one of the most amazing experiences being at Mbombela. The crowd was just magnificent. And I think that's what we want. We take rugby to the people, and especially, there, if you don't get the opportunity that much, people come out, they support the team, they support the surrounding businesses, etc., and it's just great for that community. So hopefully we can see more of the same when the RGs go there.
I was there. We took a road trip with a bus, put up a little cam before.
Yeah,
so I can't remember the game, but I hear that was pretty good. I hear it's not too bad.
Not at all. And you guys haven't been too bad as well. Thank you so much, Vic.
Thanks, AJ.
Always a pleasure catching up with you boys.
OG, thanks. And it was nice beating you at the golf and taking your money.
Listen, I want my money back. So now that you're actually off form, I think it's a good time to play you. I'll leave Vic alone.
His handicap is right. What's there?
Oh, is he cooking it?
No. My handicap is way too low.
What's your handicap?
I think it's 12 now.
We're the same.
Okay.
Hawks, that even.
How's he at 12?
I'm at 12.
How?
Because I'm not good.
Jeez.
I don't believe it.
Okay.
But anyway, thanks for spilling the tea, boys.
Sure.
Thanks,
Appreciate
OG.
it.
There's that.
Well done.
Thank
no,
you.
You were great. You
You guys are.
No, you were great.
No, I think